really quietly, you'll see the last Snowdrop bird before they emigrate to colder climes. Snowdrop bird.
Hello and welcome to my studio in Somerset. It's Morwenna here. Hope you're doing really well. Bit of a catch-up episode today, as I realised February went by in a flash and I hadn't updated on the theme of birds. So for this year, to do things a little bit differently and to explore some new and interesting places, I've set a theme for each month. So January the theme was water, and I'll do a separate video on that one because I created some things inspired by water. February was birds and March is old buildings, but this episode is really focusing on February and birds, but also snowdrops. So I discovered that actually there's over 500 named varieties of snowdrop. I thought a snowdrop was a snowdrop, but on some kind of Googling thing, I can't even remember how I came across it now, I discovered there's a Snowdrop festival at Shepton Mallet, and that's really where the first cultivated snowdrops began their story, with someone called James Allen in 1830. So got this lovely catalogue here, James Allen, and Shepton Mallet, it's not far from here, about half an hour, was really where the snowdrop story began as we know them. They became really popular in Victorian times, and he bred quite a few varieties. Unfortunately, a lot of them were damaged by a fungus, but there were some that survived. So there's Magnet and Merlin, which are the ones that are best known for his achievements. So yeah, snowdrops, and that also meant that I went out looking for snowdrops. So went to the Yeo Valley Gardens. They had an early open garden session, which was part of the Shepton Snowdrop Festival. So I went along to that and had a lovely wander around the grounds. Normally their gardens aren't open till April, so it was nice to see the garden kind of dormant. So I've included a bit about walking around the gardens there. And the birds, so thinking about birds for the month of February, I did a few things. I put I put a bird feeder on my window, and I've had robins coming to that and some blue tits, which has been really nice. And then we had a lovely willow feeder from one of my sisters for Christmas, and the birds have absolutely loved that, the bum barrels in particular. And I've enjoyed just watching the birds and keeping an eye out for them more, really. And the thing that I created in response to the theme was actually a combination of birds and snowdrops together. So I borrowed this book from the library, Field Guide to Knitted Birds by Arne and Carlos. And it's such a fun book. Lots of really interesting and cute patterns, and I really love their fun approach. They've got all these different birds in sweaters, and some have got hats. Just really fun. And as I've been developing my knitting skills, I've switched at the moment. I've just started going back into doing a bit of crochet again, but I switched to knitting because I was finding I was having pain in my hands, and having discovered circular knitting needles, that's been a real game changer. So it's encouraged me to have a bit more of an explore with the knitting, and having knitted the cowl that I made last year, I wanted to try a bit more different types of knitting shaping, and I thought doing one of these birds would be a good place to start. I found it was quite easy to follow. Some bits were a little bit fiddly. The book does recommend you do it on DPNs, but I used the magic loop method with the circular needles, and that was fine. I managed to make that kind of worked. So because I wanted to make a bird inspired by snowdrops, I used greens. So this is Snowdrop Bird. I really enjoyed making the hat, so the hat was separate. I stitched the hat on. And then I couldn't really make the pom-poms, so I needle felted the pom-poms instead. I had some, what's the word? I can't think of the word, my mind's gone blank. Fleece stuff, roving, which was the similar colours to the snowdrop hat and the little bird. So I used them, and I think that worked pretty well. And the yarn I used is sock yarn, so it's quite fine. And I used the 2.25 knitting needles, so it was quite small. But yeah, I really enjoyed making that. Little bird has encouraged me to try again with the colour work. I did start having a go at learning colourwork socks last year, but found the needle size was too small, so it didn't fit my foot, and that slowed me down a little bit. But I really enjoyed making the little hat. So that's encouraged me to go back and have another go at making the socks. And it's also inspired me to look at potentially creating my own colourwork patterns and using inspiration from different places I've visited and then incorporating those into perhaps some of these designs. Yeah, it's been nice seeing how things have been unfolding from choosing birds for my theme for February. I hope you enjoy a bit of a wander around now the Yeo Valley Organic Gardens, and I managed to save enough yokens over the past couple of years, and was actually quick enough to get a garden path. So I will be revisiting the gardens throughout the year. So you'll probably see them in my videos through the seasons, which I think will be really nice, and see how they come alive after being dormant and just starting with the snowdrops. cool. That's a bit of a catch up for this episode. I better get back to working on my January film now, and water, and what I was inspired to make from that theme. And then of course March is all buildings, so I'll be out exploring some interesting places around here. Let me know if you joined in for birds and joined in for January water. Let me know where you went. Let me know if it inspired you to create anything. I'd love to hear about that. And also for March, if you've decided on any particular buildings that you're keen to explore, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Love to hear from you. Okay, take care for now. Bye bye.